What is going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be talking about the Tony Robbins UPW experience, the Unleash Your Power Within experience, whether it's good, whether it's a waste of money, and what I really think of it. So keep watching. So, the experience was 4 days. It was from a Thursday to a Sunday, and I've attended twice. The first time I attended was I paid for it, 2015. It was my first time attending a Tony Robbins event, or in fact any self-development or self-help event. And the second time I attended was as a volunteer, so I attended for free this time just to help out, but also to experience it again from a background and see if anything's changed and what I really thought of it. So, what happened on day one? Day one, essentially what you're doing is he's building it up. He's building up the main event, which is basically walking across a fire pit, charcoal, and essentially this is a whole big experience. But essentially the first day and half of the second day is essentially priming you up. He's hyping you up into it. He's making you go through beliefs. He's helping you understand the essential human needs, which is basically I would say a alternate version of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He's essentially going through that and going through what he believes is the 6 human essential core needs and helping you understand what you may be lacking, what's actually your main key human needs. So he's going through all of those things. He's going through a process called the Dickens process, which essentially is a process from NLP. If you don't know what NLP is, look it up. It's essentially what Tony teaches in a lot of his content. Although he doesn't mention it, he actually learned a lot of these techniques and his programs from NLP practitioners, the founders of NLP, and he's basically changed it and basically teaches that. So that was basically what he did during the first day. He also kind of talked about how you can become this new version of yourself, how you can step out your comfort zone and what it takes. So he gave a lot of examples. Now the first, or all 4 days, they were kind of like a rave experience, like a party. So you walked in, it's very American-like. You walk in, everyone's like disco music, everyone's like, yeah, let's go. High fives everywhere, you're talking to random people. He's making you kind of talk to other people. So if you go through a lot of anxiety, maybe a bit nerve-wracking initially, but if you're out there and you're really committed to it, then 100%, you know, it does change you. You step out your comfort zone, you meet new people, you form new friends. So it's definitely useful in that sense. And you also realize that there's a lot of people out there similar to you, so you don't feel as alone, and you realize there's a lot more people out there looking to change their lives, who are going through low confidence, anxiety, and a whole lot of other problems. So that's essentially the first day and a half. And then that leads on to the big event, which is the fire pit walk, which essentially the idea is, as you're walking across this fire pit, you're changing your internal beliefs and your thoughts, and you're really pushing yourself to become this new confident version of yourself. You're literally pushing through all boundaries, and if you can walk through this fire pit, if you can really walk through it with confidence, you're becoming this new person. And it sounds very cheesy and corny, and I understand completely the process around it. By walking across this fire pit once, does it change your life completely? I disagree. I don't think it will, especially considering where you are on your journey. However, if you're really new to the self-help world, if you're really going through anxiety and you feel like you can't do anything, you can't change, 100% this experience could give you that motivational urge, that motivational push to direct you to seeking more help and really transforming your life. So in that sense, it is useful, but like I said, it's where you are on your journey. For most people who are kind of heavily invested into self-growth, healing, who have gone to therapists in the past, who have got coaches, it's not that much of a big change. It might help you to find a little bit of a different push you're looking for, but essentially I wouldn't rate it as highly. And initially I thought it's going to change my life from what I talked about to other people, what I heard. It didn't change my life that much. It did build a lot of momentum, and it directed me in paths that I may have not gone down, such as coaching, helping people, and understanding NLP more. But that being said, it didn't change my life as much as I thought it would. Which, I guess, if you're watching this, you may be thinking already, will it change your life? I'll talk about that more, so keep watching. The third day and the fourth day, that was more about health, understanding your body, and looking after yourself. Now, these are all important things. He kind of promoted things that he was doing. At that time, he was promoting veganism a lot, talking about the effects of how animal diets can be bad for you, talking about movement, breathing. So these are important things. Whether veganism is for you, that's a whole different topic. But all these different examples he was giving you a video demonstration of why they were bad for you. And that leads me to another con, which is essentially he wasn't there for the third or fourth day. It was his friend, a close colleague of his name has slipped out of my mind. He was funny, he was good, he was a great public speaker, but it wasn't Tony. And essentially there was moments where you had Tony speaking, but it was from a screen, and it was pretty much an old pre-recorded clip, so in that sense it wasn't that worthwhile. Now, the last 2 days there was a lot more marketing. So the whole 4 days, what you find is you get regular breaks, but before the regular breaks you get a lot of marketing where you have people talking about their experiences and selling the bigger courses that Tony sells, so like the 10-day experiences, his books, his online DVDs and courses. And essentially it's massive in terms of marketing, and it's quite annoying because he does really push you. And if you are vulnerable, if you're really looking for help, and if you have the money to spend, maybe you don't, he really pushes you, and he could be that person who just goes and invests in all these courses. Is it useful? Perhaps. I've never done many of these other courses. I've only read really his book, which I found really useful and interesting. But really, when you look at it in a contextual picture, there is lots of marketing. So in that sense, it's really annoying, and I can see how you could be that person who wastes a lot of money. And actually outside the events, there's a lot of stores where they're selling coaching packages, selling books and courses. So yeah, that's another thing to look out for. Those were the 4 days. Apart from that, the other things that was covered were, yeah, essentially looking after your body. You got to meet other people, you got to work in small groups and teams, you had team leaders. The 5-pit experience was safe. You know, there was people there to guide you, people to help you. You were doing barefooted, of course. You had ambulances around, you had first aiders, so it was very well protected. And as long as I was there, first and second time, no one was injured. And actually, when I went there the second time as a volunteer, there's a lot more people around, a lot more volunteers who were there to support you, to help you. And you know, everyone there has good intentions. Everyone there is there to help. They all get a benefit from being there, of course. But like I said, if you've never been to a self-development event, this could be, you know, massive. It could be amazing. But if you've been to these events before, if you've been to courses, if you've worked with therapists, coaches, it's probably in that sense a waste of money. Personally, now knowing what I know, I would not spend my money on it. I would rather spend it on a therapist or a coach if I wanted help, or if I wanted to go deeper into myself. I would again go to a coach or a therapist where you get a lot more value for the amount of money you're paying, and of course it's going to be over a long course, so it's going to be over several months, where you're likely to see more of a change as opposed to 4 days. However, if you have the money and you want to experience it, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it if you want to experience Tony Robbins in live, if you want to see him as a public speaker. I definitely learnt a lot about Tony. He's very energetic, he's a great public speaker, and probably why a lot of these courses sell. So overall, how much would I rate the experience? Right now, knowing what I know, 4 out of 10. Yeah, it's a 4. Because I'd rather spend that money on other courses, coaches, if I wanted to, if I needed help. Because I know I'd get more of an experience, more help, and more of a long-lasting change. However, that being said, back in the day I would have rated the course a 7 or 8 out of 10 because it really pushed me at that stage where I had no knowledge of self-development, no really internal thoughts, internal awareness of my beliefs and my thoughts. So at that stage it helped me. But now, knowing what I know and knowing how much more information is out there, how much more help is out there, 100% I think is a waste of money. However, if you have the money, if you are balling, if you are rich, go for it. If you're really curious, there's no harm. You can always go for it. If you do go for it, make sure you go all in, push yourself, step out of your comfort zone, really participate in all the activities, meet new people, go around, talk, network, because there are a lot of people who are high up in their field, whether it be fitness, property, business, whatever it is. There are a lot of people you meet there, and if you really push yourself to meet those people, it could be life-changing. You could make amazing new contacts. So in that sense, it's useful. In terms of Tony Robbins, I think he's a great person. I do think he offers a lot of value. I think in terms of coaching, in terms of business, in terms of advice, offers a lot of advice, but a lot of his advice is generic. And if you want to solve more of the deeper issues, if you want to solve more of the internal beliefs and thoughts, I'd highly recommend getting a one-to-one therapist who can help you more, one-to-one coach, whatever it is you feel comfortable with. And I haven't been to any of his other courses. I haven't done these kind of 10-day experiences or his online DVDs, so I can't really comment on those. I'm sure there's other people out there who have attended and can give you more of a in-depth review. But that being said, I met people on the course who did actually do some of his online DVDs. I think he's got like 10 DVD courses, I guess, which they found really useful and really helped change their mentality and their mindset. So it could be really useful. And essentially that's it. If you've enjoyed this review, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.